The field of CAR T cells is moving very rapidly, and it's a fascinating story. From a patient perspective, one must admit that this is relatively complex procedure. In terms of mechanism of action, I think for our patient it's about educating their lymphocytes. These are the soldiers of immunity, and actually the CAR T cells concept is about engineering, manipulating these soldiers to make them equipped to be able to target and kill the tumor cell. So today we do have great data, great results in different diseases in hematology. We do have commercial products available in acute lymphoblastic leukemia, in non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and hopefully soon in multiple myeloma. And these results are really convincing, especially that we are talking about patients who are in a relapsed refractory disease setting, heavily pretreated. These are patients who actually failed prior therapies. So CAR T cells are providing a lot of hope for these patients. So the patient journey is relatively complex. First of all, once the indication has been decided in a multidisciplinary meeting, because this is teamwork, then you have to collect the lymphocyte. This is the apheresis process. And in general, it works. However, in some patients, you do not have enough lymphocyte and you may not get enough cells to generate your CAR T cells. Then these lymphocytes are shipped to the manufacturing facility. And this process, the engineering, the manufacturing process, may take 2 to 3 weeks, even 4 weeks in some cases. And in the meantime, the patient may or may not need a sort of a bridging therapy, a sort of a waiting to receive the CAR T cell. The patient may need to receive some chemotherapy or some other treatment. Once we have the CAR T cells being ready, actually the patient will receive some form of chemotherapy. We call it the lymphodepletion chemotherapy. So the idea is to prepare the ground, to prepare the environment before infusing the CAR T cells. And then the CAR T cells are infused through a catheter, like a blood transfusion actually. And these CAR T cells, our hope, because this is a living drug, we want them to proliferate in vivo. And actually, there is a critical period within the first 10 or 15 days, because this is the time where the cells are going to start to proliferate. And this is when the patient may encounter some of the severe side effects, like the cytokine-release syndrome. So what is the cytokine-release syndrome? It's a sort of a storm where the lymphocyte proliferating a lot started secreting a lot of cytokines, inflammatory cytokines, and excessive inflammation can do harm. This is also when you can encounter some other toxicities like the neurological toxicities. Now we know that we do have effective and drugs that can allow to control these complications. And once you are out of this period, a very early period, then things will become, I would say, more comfortable, and the patient will be discharged. However, there is a need for a very close follow-up and monitoring for the disease itself, because obviously you need to assess the response of the disease, but also for the mid and long-term complications, for example, infectious complications. And these patients will need some support, regular support with immunoglobulins in order to help them to fight against infection. So in summary, as you can see, it's a relatively long journey, but it is worth it, because actually the results are really amazing in really hopeless and desperate situations. So CAR T cells, despite their complexity, are really providing a lot of hope for many patients, and we are really very excited about it.